everybody for joining. My name is Henry Skey. I am, of course, your webinar guide today, as I always am. I want to let you know there's a couple of different things going on in the recording room. I don't know if you guys ever had this where you may have had like cleaning services, like maids would come in or cleaning people would come into your house, and then they would go away, and then you couldn't really find anything, like your toothbrush or your clothes or whatever are in a different spot. So it was nice that they cleaned up, but you can't find anything. That's kind of what I'm dealing with right now. I couldn't find my mic. The stand wasn't really adjusted properly. The phone wasn't plugged in, so I couldn't get internet access. So basically, someone came in here, and I think I know who it was. I think it was our internal team. They're dastardly. They're trying to sabotage me. Came in, moved the desks around, so it would be more convenient for them, of course, because they're coming to visit. Then they decided to disrupt absolutely everything I had in here. But guys, not to worry. You know me. David, I know you're on board right now, and you know how much I love change. Boy, do I love change. I'm going to roll with it. It's going to be no problem at all. But the good news is that the audio equipment is working just fine now, and that we have some information for you about the marketing plan, about landscaping and yard maintenance. So thanks everybody for joining. I want to remind you that this will be recorded. It's recording right now. And we'll make it available on our YouTube channel. And that's youtube.com/RingPartner. And it'll be added to the RingPartner University playlist. And guys, we've had excellent feedback on it so far, but I've already talked enough, so let's get right into it. So what are the fundamentals of landscaping and yard maintenance? I imagine they're pretty easy to guess. This isn't like tax defense or rehab or credit card debt, where there's a lot of different variables and financial implications to consider. And that's what I love about the home services vertical. It is so easy to understand. Sure, there are some details, the devil's in the details, as they say, but every campaign has that. But it's under our home services umbrella. And I should have mentioned this in the PowerPoint, it's also part of our Spring Ring contest. Basically, with the Spring Ring contest, we're looking for $100 worth of traffic on 7 of our campaigns, our home services campaigns that we have deemed are spring themed. So it doesn't actually say, on the campaign that it's part of, that particular contest. But I will let you know that that's basically how it works. So we're looking for $100 worth of traffic. And if you do that for any one of the 7 home services campaigns, you'll win a $25 gift card to Home Depot or Molly Maid. And the good news is that you can do it 7 times. So you can actually win up to $175. So we're doing that for True Green, Paint Your House, Gutter Services, Tree Maintenance Service, Maid Services, and you guessed it, landscaping and yard maintenance. Those are going to be really good campaigns to run, guys. And I'll tell you why. Home services, like I mentioned earlier, are very easy to understand. And if they're very easy for you to understand, then they're very easy for the caller to understand. One of the biggest hurdles we have in pay-per-call marketing is people calling in about the wrong thing. Or they're slightly confused when they call in. They're not really 100% certain what the service is. And we want to remove that confusion, because that confusion can result in calls being hung up on, and you will not get paid, and we will not get paid. And that's probably my least favorite phrase I've ever said in this recording room. You don't get paid, we don't get paid. We want to avoid that, which is why you want to run home services. There's not that much complication involved, particularly with things like plumbing, electricians. Hey, if somebody needs a plumber, somebody needs an electrician, call this number. They're going to call. Okay, well, we'll send someone around. Boom, end of transaction. There's going to be some complications along the way, like, well, what if I have an issue with my solar panel? Is that solar or electrician? So that's the point of these marketing plans, is I want to try and provide you guys with as much information as possible. And in this case with landscaping and yard maintenance, there actually is a couple of tidbits that I need to let you guys know before you're going to run this campaign successfully. This campaign is good for the spring and summer season. Now, I've been told that other parts of the world are actually still getting terrible weather, like snow. I can't even believe it. I know David's on board right now in the office with me. We have had pretty much summer weather for the last 3 weeks or so. And I know it sounds like I'm bragging, and I know you guys are saying, go to hell, Henry. And rightfully so. You should tell me that. You should be jealous. Victoria has some of the best weather ever. The reason I'm hyping that up is I want you guys to come visit us. Anytime you're in Victoria on a vacation or whatever, give us a ring and we'll meet up and have coffee or a drink, or we'll go out and we'll show you by the gorge. Just beautiful. But the reason I bring this up is that you guys are going to want to target areas that have nice weather right now. Doesn't make much sense to run a campaign like landscaping and yard maintenance on the East Coast right now, where I'm pretty sure it snowed last week. Probably, now, from what I hear of my friends in Michigan, the snow isn't lasting a long time, but at the same time, those people are not going to be super interested in maintaining their lawn. Heck, they're just waiting to get their lawn back. It's raining all the time. It's snowing all the time. But the good news is that spring and summer season is upon us. We're going to have probably another record-setting summer, which means a lot of heat, which means people are going to be working on their lawns a lot. There's probably going to be, water restrictions and things like that. So you need to make sure that your callers are aware of these factors and stuff that can damage your lawn. So excess sun, people running on it, animals, bugs, all this stuff that you want to make sure that people are aware of so that they're enticed to call in. But really hype up the spring and summer season. It's upon us. Beautiful weather, which means your lawns are going to be coming back to life, but only if they have the proper caretaker, which is hopefully going to be them. The campaign has nationwide coverage. And again, with home services, nationwide doesn't mean every square inch of the United States. What it means is that we have coverage all over the United States as long as it's within an area that we can actually support. And let me dumb it down a little bit more there, because I think I overcomplicated things. Basically, we can make a call work if they're within coverage distance. So somebody calls in, maybe they're right down the road from one of our buyers. They'll say, "Yep, no problem. We'll be there in 2 minutes." But if somebody calls in the boonies or the sticks and they're maybe, say, 30 miles from the nearest town, there's no way they're going to get coverage, guys. No chance. So make sure you target, I've heard the magic number is kind of 20,000, towns of 15 or 20,000. Basically, you want to target areas that are going to have these kinds of services. And it's tricky because, you could just assume that a town of 20,000 would have this kind of service, but maybe not. So if you're looking to target a specific area, go on to Google, do your research, and make sure you find out if there is these kinds of services around. Obviously some places are going to have more, yard and landscaping businesses than others. So you want to target those as well. Manhattan, probably not the best area to target landscaping and yard maintenance. Nobody has a yard. And I know Central Park really kind of, calls random numbers, to get their baseball fields. Central Park rocks, by the way. You know what I mean, though, guys? You want to target rural areas, places that people have homes, more importantly, have lots of yardage. And heck, you could go onto Google Earth and just look if you're not sure if a town has lots of yards. You could do that same thing with swimming pools. I mean, Google Earth is a very, very valuable tool to look at these kinds of things. So definitely keep that in mind. If I was a publisher, one of the first things I do if I wanted to run landscaping and yard maintenance is I get my geos in order, check out Google Earth. Oh man, they do have a lot of yardage. Do they have a front and backyard? Maybe if you want to target an area and no one has a front yard, don't mention front yards. If you do, somebody will look at it and say, I don't really have a front yard. I only have a backyard. When the service, guys, is going to be exactly the same. Don't create any artificial hurdles for yourself. Do your research. I got really passionate about that. At Nationwide US, I'm not even in the US, and I'm passionate about it. I hope you guys are passionate about it because I want to make you guys a lot of money because then I also make a lot of money. That's what I'm here for. So the coverage hours are going to be Monday to Saturday, 9 to 5. I should have mentioned this right off the bat, everybody. We are looking at making some tinkers, some changes to landscaping and yard maintenance. I anticipate the coverage hours will extend to Sunday, and I anticipate the hours will increase soon. So keep that in mind. I can't make any HSKI guarantees. I can't make any promises, but I would say that changes are on the way and the changes are going to be good. So definitely keep that in mind. We got a note here. Oh, I also should have mentioned, guys, if you have any questions, please put them in the questions panel. We've got one right now. It's not really a question. David is telling us that Taylor, one of our friends right now, is in shorts. And that's, again, indicative of how good the weather is lately. So, for example, if this campaign was open to Canada, you would absolutely want to run this campaign in Victoria, BC. We got a 2-minute duration and a $5 payout. And guys, remember, the duration is a connect duration. So that clock basically starts ticking when the call gets transferred. So you have to make sure they get out of the IVR. We get a lot of questions saying, Henry, how come my call didn't convert, or how come it didn't count? I will go and check the stats and I'll say, well, it's because they spent 47 seconds in the IVR and only 3 connected to the buyer for whatever reason. So definitely keep that in mind, guys, when you're looking at stats. We might, again, look at the duration. We might look at the payout. Changes are coming to this campaign, so stay tuned. Targeting. Now, I would say this campaign, in terms of a marketing plan, doesn't have as much meat, doesn't have as much information compared to others. However, it's vital that you guys pay more attention, because it's very, very subtle, the differences between what's going to be a paid call and what's not going to be a paid call. Pay attention to the IVR. And again, we might change the verbiage on this, but the core business of landscaping and yard maintenance is not going to be lawn cutting or leaf collecting. I repeat, the core business does not involve mowing the lawn, cutting the lawn, leaf collection, or anything like that. So keep that in mind. The IVR goes like this. Thank you for calling the yard maintenance experts. For landscaping services, please press 1. For a handyman who can help out around the home, please press 2. So we'll go into the IVR details a little bit later on, but basically what you're looking for is people pressing 1. We might be able to make the calls convert on a press 2, but likely not right now. So we really want to emphasize that the people that are going to be calling in avoid lawn mowing, lawn cutting, and leaf collection. If you guys have images or graphics or a landing page that has pictures of somebody mowing the lawn, I recommend changing those. That's not the kind of calls that this campaign will accept right now. We really want people that are going to dig deep and do real landscaping and real yard maintenance. Now, lawn mowing and lawn cutting, hey, it's one of the easiest services to understand. I get that. It's not what the campaign is looking for. You might get lucky and somebody presses 2. A handyman might be able to do it, but I wouldn't make any guarantees. So definitely keep that in mind. So a target customer is going to be a homeowner. They're going to have a good amount of property. I would be very careful about how you target this, guys. We're not looking for condos. We're not looking for renters. We're looking for homeowners that have property. They're going to have a yard, a front yard, a side yard, a backyard, and it's going to have to be big enough really for them to put in a lot of effort to making it look nice and make it look healthy. And again, that's where Google Earth comes into play. Look on Google Earth, look at some neighborhoods and make sure they're affluent. Make sure they have big yards. Basically, the bigger the better, right? The bigger the yard is, the more likely, probably the bigger the property is, which means they have more money, which means they're more likely to spend discretionary income on things like the yards, or maybe not. Maybe they don't have a lot of money, but at the same time, they really, they really think that the yard is worth maintaining. So something to take note, guys. This campaign will require a little bit more research, I think, than other campaigns. We want to lean towards the male demographic just because in general, and now women can do this too. I'm not saying that. Just with my data that I've researched, typically men typically spearhead the landscaping front. I think it's just because there's a little bit more, I'm going to get myself in trouble here. There's a little bit more physical labor involved, but don't discriminate against women. For whatever graphics you do, I don't know how you're going to do it, but all I've heard is that more callers are male than female. I'll just leave it at that. You guys can do with that information what you want. Nationwide coverage, again, each area has its own personality. So are you going to target people in the South? Well, it's hotter in the South. Do people have lots of yardage? If they do, are there water restrictions? This is research you want to do. California and the West Coast, okay, now we're talking. It's a little bit nicer out here. Lawns are probably, prevalent, more months of the year. Do people spend as much money on yardage out here? I would say absolutely. You go to Washington State and Portland and Oregon, gardens and flowers and, yards are a big deal. So probably a good area to target. The Midwest and the East Coast right now, kind of rainy, kind of snowy, kind of crappy. Probably want to target them for now, but when summer comes around, are people going to go crazy and be like, oh, finally the sun's here, we're going to make my yard look really good? Each area has its own personality. So I would say, this campaign above others definitely requires some real geo research. Okay, So crucial info. Again, pay close attention to the IVR, and I recommend you guys do a test call as always. You're all doing test calls for the campaigns you're running, right? The IVR says, again, press 1 for lawn maintenance and let's try it again, landscaping and yard maintenance. So the core services for press 1, this is what we cover basically. Lawn maintenance, weed control, wild onions. I didn't even know what wild onions were. I had to look them up. They're kind of flower. Fertilization, crabgrass, diseases, and grass feed. So this is kind of the stuff where, you see people dig up their lawn in like squares and they're, feeding the dirt, putting good nutrients in there, putting in maybe pesticides. I'm not sure about the details, but that's what we're looking for, guys. Press 2 is going to be for lawn cutting and leaf blowing, but you really want to emphasize the other stuff. Fertilization, do they have enough? How does your garden look? I mean, they can cover gardens. They can cover bushes. They can cover lawns of all sizes. But you really want to make sure that the products are really emphasized. A lot of people will use store-bought products. And, basically the people on the phone now, obviously they're going to be biased, but it's usually not good enough. You really want to have an expert come and look at it. So really emphasize the expert service. Anyone can go to, Home Depot and, buy a bag of fertilizer, but do you really want to do that? Do you know what you're doing? Don't risk your, maybe use language like don't risk your yard. Don't risk your lawn. Don't risk your summer, there's potential for injuries if you don't know what you're doing. You're bent over, you're trying to rip up all this grass by yourself. Let an expert do it. Peace of mind is what we're selling here, guys. You call this number and they're going to be able to take care of everything. Well, except leaf blowing and collection and lawn cutting, but we already talked about that. And that's not what we're emphasizing. So if you have a landing page, if you have a list of services that this campaign is going to provide, make sure you include that. Again, lawn maintenance, weed control, wild onions, fertilization, crabgrass, diseases, grass feed, anything and everything you can think of to do with the health of the grass outside of cutting it and leaves. The best creatives to use from what we've seen, Facebook is an excellent one just because those paid ads on the right-hand side, Facebook's demographics are getting older. Of course, all the young kids and all the cool kids are using Snapchat and Instagram, and back in my day we had Facebook and we liked it. They're using Facebook way more often, and that's going to be something that you can put on there that is going to instantly remind them. Oh yeah, it's April. I should get going on my lawn. Who do I call? You're going to call that number. Paid search and SEO are solid sources, but again, one of the questions we got earlier today, and thank you very much for that one, is don't you think it would be difficult to compete on AdWords for $5 with a 61-second payout duration? I'm not sure, it's actually 2 minutes, but the duration actually isn't an issue from what I've seen. You shouldn't worry too much about the duration. A lot of the conversations, they're going to be asking them, what's your address, what kind of yard work are you looking to get, things like that. So I don't think the duration is an issue. The payout, yeah, the payout might be for sure. You're competing against really big companies, but we have seen a lot of people make it work. We're seeing more traffic on Bing paid search. Facebook is coming out with its Canvas. I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but I would definitely start doing your research on Facebook Canvas, which is basically their click to call. So I would say Facebook, SEO, and paid search. I would lean towards Facebook and SEO. We are having a couple people making it work on AdWords. They're probably targeting very, very locally. That somewhere that maybe doesn't have this massive company in their area. I don't know. That'll be up for you guys to discover on your own. So like I said before, coverage is crucial. We want to target high populating areas, but not somewhere like Manhattan, and probably, to be honest, not like downtown LA where there's just not a lot of property where people would be really concerned about their yards. So a lot of opportunity here for states like big states that we don't usually focus on. A lot of the Midwest states maybe in the summer. The West Coast, Seattle, Oregon. Did I say Portland before? I think I did. Portland is the city. Oregon is the state. I apologize. And California, New Mexico, places where it's going to be hot, but a lot of people have, good sized properties. So definitely keep that in mind. They are going to ask if they are a new or existing customer. And again, guys, I've said this 100 times, do your best to avoid repeat callers. Prime your callers with information before, and make sure you put a note on saying that this campaign, or this number rather, is for new customers only. You want to avoid repeat callers because that's going to hurt your conversion rate. And again, last tidbit, guys, make sure, we emphasize peace of mind. Store-bought products, yeah, they're okay, but leave it to the experts. They're going to come with all the right equipment. They're going to come with all the right knowledge. They're going to come with all the lawn wisdom that they've garnered over the years, and they're going to get the job done. That's what we're selling here, peace of mind. I mean, you wouldn't expect someone to do their own plumbing, right? You're letting an expert do it. That's why you're calling in the first place, to book an appointment. All right, guys, so that is going to be all for now. I like these marketing plan webinars, nice and quick. Thank you very much for joining me here today. If you have any other questions, please email distribution@ringpartner.com. Look for this webinar to go up on our YouTube channel very soon. That's youtube.com/ringpartner. You can follow us at RingPartner on Twitter and our Facebook group, of course, or give us a call, 888-656-3726, extension 222. We got great team, partner success managers. We got 5 of us now. Had some new people start last week. They're getting up to speed. You'll be really lucky if you can reach, myself, Gabe, Taylor, Laura, or Marie. We're all here to help you guys. And we're so fortunate to have such a great group of distribution partners and publishers that are sending calls really our way, but also to the buyer's way, and really helping people with services like landscaping and yard maintenance. So thank you once again for joining me. This has been Henry Skey. Have a great day.